Welcome to the Raise podcast. I'm Carol Barwick. We're here to raise your confidence and inspire your creativity. Each episode, we will have a different guest who will be discussing our Raise word. The Raise word is a word that will encourage you or empower you and at times inspire you to explore the word a little more for yourself. Hello everybody, welcome to the Raise podcast. I'm Carol Barwick. We've talked about lots of different Raise words so far. We've looked at connection, we've looked at impact, and today we're going to look at the word remember. We're going to be talking to the wonderful Angie Mackrell, otherwise known as Red Mug Coffee Mama. Good morning, Angie.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Now, Red Mug Coffee Mama, is that right? Because I tell you, Angie, every time I write it, I think, is it Red Coffee? Is it Red Mama? You tell us what it is.
Yes, it is. It's Red Mug Coffee Mama. Would you like me to tell you the reason for it?
Yes, please.
So my dad, who is a large part of my book that I wrote, he made this wonderful red mug with half a rainbow on it on a special day that we had when we went out together and did sort of a Paint Your Dream workshop. And it's always been my favorite mug, so I've always kept it with me. And I drink coffee from it. Coffee's my favorite drink. I'm a mum, so it just worked out completely wonderful for my company.
I love that. That's so nice to have the story behind it. Because we've known each other for maybe, 6 months or so now, and I've never known the story behind it. So thank you for sharing that. And it will help me to remember that is Red Mug Coffee Mama. That is brilliant. Angie, we're going to be talking about memories and the word remember today. So before we get into everything, what does the word remember mean to you?
Oh, I'd say it means a lot to me. There's just every memory I have is remembering a person that's important to me, or a special place, or a special song. And that's what I've generally done in my book that I wrote. It's all about remembering the person who my dad was, the situation he went through, and remembering him after he's left this world, which is so important. You've got to keep the memories alive.
Yeah. And the wonderful thing about you, Angie, is that you have helped me with my memories. So I think the way that we met initially, if I remember correctly, is you came to me and said that you were enjoying the podcast, which was such an encouragement because it was so early on. And I wasn't sure if I was doing the right thing or how it was going. So that encouragement was amazing. But what we went on to do was you helped me to recover some very precious memories of my mum. And that was a gift that is going to stay with me forever. So I think when it comes to talking about, so when it comes to talking about remember and memories, you are just the right person to talk to about it. And the way that you helped me is by journaling. And journaling is something that I've always loved doing. But tell me a little bit about how journaling helps you to kind of remember and keep your memories kind of special and sacred.
Well, the truth is, when I was going through a very, very hard time, my dad had just been diagnosed, and it was not a good diagnosis of cancer, and it looked like it was going very, very fast. I found writing every feeling down was such a help. Yeah. And I do believe that, being able to, I won't say get over grief, because you can never get over it, but living with grief has been possible because I was able to write down all my feelings really truthfully throughout the situation. And I won't say it was easy, because when you lose somebody so dear to you, writing down your feelings can be very hard, but it's very therapeutic, and it will help you be able to live through such difficult situations.
Yeah, it's really cathartic, isn't it? You're right. It's not easy because often the things that you're writing down can, it's almost like pressure points, isn't it? It's things that maybe you want to remember, but it's painful to remember, or maybe you don't
Yeah.
want to remember, but writing them down, there's a kind of a catharsis in getting it out of your mind onto paper, and that's
Yes.
something
Yes.
that you helped me to discover again, because I've always journaled, but recently it just didn't have so much importance, and I think you kind of uncovered that for me again, which is incredible. I'm very excited because I
Thank
can't say I
you.
have it right here in my hand, but in the room next door I have your well-being journal, which is hot off the press. Tell us a little bit about that, please.
Oh, I'm so glad you have it. Uh, it's definitely a journal I've wanted to have for a very long time. I'm somebody who collects journals crazily. I've got so many, but part of that is that I've always wanted lots of journals in one. So,
Yeah,
a gratitude journal, a sort of a journal where you can draw or doodle ideas, because I always feel like people journal in different ways. So
yeah,
some people enjoy drawing more, some people enjoy writing. I know you love writing poems, so
yeah,
for everybody it's very different. But including that, it's always good to shake it up a little bit and do something different each day. So
yeah,
my journal has 5 different pages for every day, so that you've got a mixture and you can choose, or you can do all of them. I'm one of those people who does all of them because I love
yeah,
it.
yeah,
um, so you have a page where you write how your day's been, and there's a part where you can write a positive affirmation. So what I like to do is write the positive affirmation as soon as I get up, and it sets me up for the day. This is what I want to think on.
yeah,
Then at the end of the day, I'll write how the day's been, and I'll look at it and see where there's been wonderful moments, if there's been sad moments. And I'll go straight to my gratitude page, and I'll find 3 things that have given me so much joy in the day. And you will
yeah.
think there are days that are really, really difficult, and it will be very hard to find 3 things, but I guarantee you will find them. You've just got to keep your eyes open. And then there's a drawing page. So I'm not very artistic. I love to draw, but I'm not very artistic.
Yeah,
So I do that one, but I don't do it every night, that one.
yeah,
And there's a dream page, because I do believe sometimes our dreams give us information on what we are struggling with in the daytime.
yeah, yeah,
And then the last page is a brain dump page. So if you're going to bed and you've got so much on your head that you're worried about or you're stressing about, this is a page just to empty it up and put it in, so that you can go to bed with a clear head and you can relax. It's very, very therapeutic to put it down on paper and leave it there. I've even made my daughter a small book that's a worry. I think I've put it as a worry book. So she writes everything that she's worrying about before she goes to bed. And it seems to be helping her. So I love that page.
that's brilliant. I love that you've got so much versatility. I love a good doodle. I always used to think I was going to get in trouble in meetings because I'd always be drawing. But what I need people to realize is that when I'm doodling, I'm listening. And I think
Yeah.
people can miss out on that, on the fact that actually by doing something else, like doodling. You can really get your thoughts in order, or things just seem a little bit clearer. It almost sounds a little bit of a paradox, but I just find by doing something else, I'm actually concentrating. So a doodle page
Oh,
is great. And then
I
yeah,
definitely understand what you mean, because I learn through doodling. So I
yeah,
may not be good at it, but I always doodle when I'm in a class, or it's usually through a class because I listen more. And I found this
yeah,
out through high school. I had a brilliant teacher who just was amazing. I went into his class, his first day of his class, and the first thing he did was gave us all an A3 page of the Wheel of Life. So it was a religious education class,
hmm,
and for that term we were studying that. And he just basically said, I don't mind what you do, doodle, color it in, write notes, or just listen. As long as you listen to everything I say, you will be learning. And that's where I found out that doodling helps me listen to him. And I got a
yeah,
really good mark in his class.
yeah, yeah. I think there's a lot to be said for teachers allowing students to learn in different ways. It's taken me right back to a memory of rough books. Did you? I don't know if you ever had rough books, but basically it was just an exercise book, a kind of A5, I think, so quite small, lined, and you could just write anything you wanted in there. And I realize, and it's just hit me right now, that that was my first journaling experience, to be given a plain book and be told, fill it with whatever you want. And I filled it with whatever I wanted. I mean, we're talking
Oh, I
raps,
love that.
poems. Yeah, very, very important declarations of love to various boys. And when you crossed it out and had to put the number to determine whether you were, going to be 100% matched with them, incredibly important things. But
Yes.
yeah, but that freedom to just be, just write things, and the teachers never looked at them. I mean, I remember, I think I must have had at least 3 or 4 a year, because I just used to fill them with stuff, and some stuff was
Yeah.
important, and poems and things like that, and as I said, other stuff was rubbish.
But
But it's having the
it's good
permission.
that, yeah, it is good, because everybody has a different style of learning, don't they? And
Yeah,
a different way of expressing themselves. And I
yeah,
also
and I
know,
yeah,
so I put in the journal, I put a scrapbooking page as well, because I know that I love to keep special cards that people have written to me. If they've written something lovely in it, I always keep them, and I put them
mm,
in my journal, because it's something that makes you smile, and it makes you think that that person has really, really thought about you in a special way. So I thought that was kind of important to put in the journal.
yeah. Again, it's keeping those memories safe, isn't it? And it's so important to be reminded of how people feel about you and how much you are loved, particularly in the darker days, to be able to go back and read that. I think that's really, really important, to have those kind of memories. I wonder what memories are coming up for you as Angie and I are talking today. If you still need to remember to get a Christmas present, look no further. You can book with me to do 6 sessions for just £100. That's 6 singing lesson sessions for just £100. Get in touch with me on www.raiseforall.com or find me on social media. Back to the episode. And one of the things that you really taught me about the importance of remembering our memories is to celebrate them. Tell me a little bit about how you celebrate your memories.
Um, so with my dad, I always want to remember him. Um, And I don't want my children to forget him either, even though my
Yeah.
youngest was maybe a little bit too small before he left. My eldest definitely remembers him. And I want that to go on forever because he was a special person in my life.
Yeah.
So, you know, at Christmas time, we've got a special Christmas bauble that has, you know, a feather in it, and we put that up, and it says Grandpa on it, and it also says Dad on the other side.
Yeah.
And we make sure we put that up. Um, and you know, I when it's like his birthday, we'll make sure we have, you know, either fish and chips, which he absolutely adored,
Hmm.
uh, or I'll go on the beach. I generally I'll do a run somewhere, and it usually ends up to the beach because that's where I feel him mostly, because he loved the beach. That was his favorite place.
Yeah.
And I mean, my biggest thing I've done is written American Teabag, because that's all about him. It's not all sad in that book. It does have some fun memories about him, and also, if you love food, I've written a lot about food in there.
I love the seeing all your different the way that you kind of celebrate different festivals and things like that with food. You are epic. I think it was did you do an Independence
I
Day
am a foodie.
shredded wheat or yeah, absolutely epic. So yeah, I'm sure when people read it they'll enjoy um listening to all that you kind of say about food as well and the celebration. And going back to what you said about the beach, um, I find that water, any kind of water, really still water, in a beautiful location, is a perfect way to bring back some memories or some thoughts. It's there's just a stillness, isn't there, by water, I think, and
Oh,
kind of connects you.
definitely. I always so enjoy being by the sea. I mean, my ideal afternoon is going down to the beach, obviously when we've got good weather because we're in England, but you know, blue sky, sunshine, sit on the beach, take your journal with you, and just write away. That's perfect afternoon for me.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, wherever you go, taking a journal and just um yeah, it's just noting things around you, isn't it? And remembering things. Um Certainly for you and I think remembering things that God might have said to you or other people might have said to you that you want to remember. One of the things I find about my journal is a lot of what's in there is really important for being able to continue living life in a kind of a strong and a successful way. And I found that actually writing it down means that those things aren't lost. They're kind of remembered
Oh,
and they're kept
definitely.
safe. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um.
definitely. Your
T-
journal is your safe space.
yes. Yeah. Absolutely. And I think it's interesting as well. And there's going to be a kind of different viewpoints on this, but in the right kind of time and way to share some of it with other people gives them an insight into who you are. My mum used to journal, but she just used to write on kind of loose leaf bits of paper. And I remember finding the kind of box with everything in it and being having so many mixed emotions about whether I wanted to kind of read through it, kind of what I wanted to do with it. And it's such a private space, isn't it, journaling? But I've found that when I
Mm.
have shared certain things with people, it just gives them in literally a window into your soul. Um,
Oh, definitely, definitely.
yeah.
It's good for
You mentioned
other people. sorry,
Yes.
is good for other people who maybe are going through a situation just like you. That's
Yeah.
purely why I shared my journal, um, my journal pieces in the book, because I thought there's so many people who lose a parent and are maybe going through the same as me, but feel so lonely about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So am I right that you've got two books at the moment? You've got American Teabag. Is that right?
Yes, American Teabag, um, and the journal. I'm almost finished with American Teabag too, but
How exciting.
COVID has kind of gotten the problem with a lot of things, but it will be on its way.
That's fantastic. And you can purchase those books on Amazon. What we'll do is we'll pop all of those details into the show notes so that people can purchase them. Already from the photo that I popped up on Instagram of your wellbeing journal, someone's got in touch to say, where do I get it? So be prepared. I
Oh,
think
how
it's,
lovely. That's
oh
so
yeah, and
lovely.
I think in this time, obviously you mentioned COVID, and it just can't be ignored. It has given people time and space to think, to remember, to um, write and be creative, and it's been interesting having that time and space um, to do that. Did you find that
Yes,
over,
definitely.
particularly in lockdown and
Oh,
things?
yes. Yes, definitely. I mean, I don't know what I've done without journaling, actually. It's so helpful for me. The two big things that help me, every week are journaling and running. And
Yeah.
that's been ever since, ever since the year that my dad passed away. Those two things have really helped me. So I just do them. When you find something that works, you stick with it. And journaling is such a, I want to say, cheap option for anybody, because there are some people that can't afford lots of therapies, but
Mm.
journaling, you can do anywhere. Even if you did get my book, it's still, so it's a 2-month journal, which is basically, I think, under £5 a month.
Yeah.
And everybody can put £5 aside each month to help their well-being.
Yeah. Yeah. We always challenge those listening. So our challenge for you today is find a piece of paper to start off with, and just write down a little bit of how you feel today. Start that way, and then you might think, yeah, this has really helped me, and you might want to go and grab Angie's book, or you might have some notebooks already that you want to start writing in. I think the key to journaling, Angie, is to start. That's pretty much how it works,
Definitely.
isn't it? You have to
Pick up a
start
pen,
somewhere. Yeah.
start.
Yeah. I
That's
remember
definitely
as a
true.
kid, yeah, I used to write songs on the back of bus tickets. So any piece of paper I could get hold
Oh,
of,
I love
I
that.
would I'd write things on. I also
I
remember
love that.
doing my GCSEs, um, and we had these little tiny slips of paper, syllabus slips they were called, and you had them on your
Mm-hmm.
desk, and
Yeah.
it was just so that the examiner knew who you were and your exam number. And I used to write, after I'd done my exam, I used to write on the back, I used to write stories or notes to friends and things like that. And my writing was teeny tiny, so I could get as much in as possible. Um, and a good friend of mine, Rachel Little, who was Rachel Weeks at the time, I've still got a corner of a folder that she wrote something to me on. So how's that for a memory?
That is lovely. I love that. I love that. The
But yeah,
best thing is when you get your new journal and and you get your
Oh,
best pen and you just start writing.
oh,
I love that feeling. I love
isn't it
it.
amazing? Oh, it's so amazing. The
Yes.
worst bit, of course, is going to any well-known shop that stocks journals and
Oh,
choosing one.
yes.
Oh my
No,
goodness. And it's getting worse
choose them
because
all.
journals are, they're gorgeous, aren't they?
Yes.
um,
Yes.
um, every now and then I'll take a photo of the kind of wall of journals and just pop it in my group and say, which one would you pick? And it's so interesting because everybody wants a different one. They've all got a different thing. But once you find it, that's it, isn't it?
Oh, yes, definitely. Yes. That's so when I was making my journal, I
Yeah.
I asked a couple of people if they might design the background for it, but
Yeah.
they were quite busy. Rightly so, they're brilliant. And one of them suggested that I just did it. And obviously, as I've said before, I'm not very artistic. I love to do art, but I'm not very artistic. However, this did push me in such a brilliant direction that one night I just picked up some paper, I picked up some oil crayons, and I made the background, and it couldn't be more perfect for me. I absolutely love it, and I would never have thought of that had this person not said that to me. So thank you.
Wow. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And it kind of harks back to, I don't know if you did this on purpose, but it does hark back to the sea and water for me, and also
Yes,
sky,
yes,
the
that's what
beautiful
it was.
blue.
I'm so glad you got that.
Oh, yeah. 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 So that's a lovely memory as part of you designing the journal as well. And, you know, having that experience, even though you thought you couldn't, you weren't particularly artistic. And now it's on the front of a book.
See, somebody gave me the confidence I needed.
Yeah, that's a good key to it all, isn't it? So, listeners, just to remind you, journaling is about starting. So, find a piece of paper, a bus ticket. We can have a competition to see what the most bizarre thing is that you can write a memory. It can either be a memory or something that you've done today. We could have a bit of fun if you're in the Facebook group. Pop it in the Facebook group. Should we have some pictures, Angie, of various
Oh,
places
I
that people have?
love that.
I think
I
that would
love
be
that.
good fun.
I'm going to look
um,
out for that.
yeah, I think maybe you and I need to kick it off to encourage people. So we'll challenge each other to find the most bizarre thing to write on.
Excellent.
Um, but yeah,
I'll look
Angie,
forward to
thank
that.
you. Yeah, me too. Thank you so much for this interview.
Thank
You said
you.
that you're excited about the poem at the end. So this is my chance to give you something to remember. So I'll just take a couple of minutes.
Thank you.
To remember is to take an ember and kindle it until there is a flame, a name, a tune. The moon may bring a memory to mind. Be kind, take time, and celebrate. Walk by the water, talk to your daughter, let the memories flow so that people know that you have gratitude for what has been and what will be. There you go.
Oh, Carol, that's beautiful. Thank you
You're so
so
welcome.
much. I love that.
Thank you. Thank
It's
you
been
so
lovely
much.
chatting with you.
Yes, thank you so much for the gift that you gave me in helping me to remember my mum. It will be something that
Oh, it's
it's
so
shaped.
welcome.
Yeah. And thank you so much for talking to us this morning. Yes, I look forward to talking to you again soon. Thank you, Angie.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you for listening to the Raise podcast. We hope you feel raised and inspired by this episode. Whilst we're not offering face-to-face classes currently, we are doing online singing lessons where you can have your voice raised as well as your confidence. If you would like to find out more, please visit our website at www.raiseforall.com or find us on social media on either our Facebook or Instagram page. Take care.